Hey, it's Mike from Backyard Boatworks, and we're right in the middle of winter right now, so haven't been able to get too much done on the big boat. But I ordered a dinghy from CLC, and didn't order the plans. I ordered the basic boat because I didn't really have time to do the drafting and cutting out the plywood and so forth. So I ended up ordering the whole kit. Um, and I ended up ordering the 10-foot dinghy. It's called Tenderly. There's kind of their label. And anyway, all the pieces were pretty much cut out. I had to do some laminating of the pieces. You can see the little puzzle pieces that I had to laminate together to get the full length. And here's their instruction book. It looks like it's actually a pretty decent kit, and hopefully that'll save time. I would rather have done the complete assembly, but again, I just with all the projects going on with the big boat, didn't have the time to deal with that. So so we've laminated all the sections here together, and then I've started to do this stitch. It's a stitch and glue is what the project is called, and what that means is all these panels are held together. You can see the little copper wires. Let's go down to the bottom side here, and you can see how they're twisted together. And so you actually kind of lock all the panels together with these copper wires, and you just keep kind of stitching it together that way. Eventually we will add some ribs to the boat, and they will also be held together with the copper wire, and then eventually we'll put epoxy in between all these seams, which will lock it into that shape. I've never built a stitch and glue construction before. When my kids were younger, I ended up building a couple of Opti plywood sailboats out of the same Okumbi marine plywood, but on that one we ended up making a plug out of pressboard, and then shaping the Okumbi plywood over the top of that and clamping it into that shape and then gluing it. So this is a little different method. Looks like it's kind of, as you can see, it's flexible. You can kind of, and I haven't really gotten all the copper really tight. They say kind of leave it loose until you're a different later stage when we get the ribs and stuff in there. At some point, I assume we'll kind of have to line everything up before we really lock it together into that shape by putting epoxy in between the edges. So anyway, my next project right now, I've got the center two sections there, and then this is the first one. I'm getting ready to add the third section, so that's what my next project is. Okay, so this is the third section, and we're going to, I don't know if you can see the little holes, but there's little tiny holes, and all these little copper wires, and I've cut them into like about a 4-inch section. And what I end up doing is kind of bending them in the center like that. And let's try to line things up here. A little difficult doing with one hand while I'm holding the camera, but so I'm going to kind of start in the middle here. Okay, you can see how I just push that through. And then I just twist it underneath. And that kind of locks it in. At this point, we want to keep things fairly loose. So I will continue all the way forward and backwards, and and then do another section on the other side, and then at that point I think we start to add some ribs in between here, which then gives it to the shape of the hull. Okay, so I've got the first three sections on both sides are loosely stitched together, and so the next step is to start putting the ribs in, and we're going to start with rib number 1, which is up here in the front. You can kind of see the tenon and mortise joints, and then we've also got little holes there where we're going to stick the copper wires through, and we're going to also stitch those in there to hold this all together. So we'll go ahead and start doing that now. Maybe. Come on. So I think I'll run all of the copper wires through. I haven't done with the ribs before, so we'll see how this works. Oops. Get them kind of halfway. Alright, so let's see if we can tie this whole bow together. Now this top section is quite a bit thicker than the rest of those, so it's a little stiffer to deal with. I'm going to feed the copper wire through our little holes. I'm going to do the middle one here first. So I can pull it together and keep it like right on the edge. Okay. Get it close here. Yeah, that actually kind of good. Now the other one of the little secrets with this kit is they send a little bottle of super glue, and what I'm going to do is to hold it in place, I'm going to put a little dab of super glue right there at the top, maybe a little bit more. Okay, and then they have this, whoops, didn't mean to do that. This is a instant set actuator for the super glue. And so that makes it set up almost instantly. Make sure I didn't glue my fingers together. Okay, so that probably will hold it at the top. Did it shift? No, it's good. Okay, I'm going to try to run another wire through the bottom here. Pliers and pull it through. That kind of a kink on the inside. Okay, I'm going to kind of start twisting it, but now I'm going to squeeze it together. There's my other pliers. While I tighten up the copper. Okay. And that holds it. I might shoot like straight down so you can see it's like edge on edge, like right on the top of the joint. There. I'm going to go ahead and put another little bit of glue. Glue really helps. I was kind of skeptical about that at first, but it actually really helped in situations like this. Okay, I'm going to put some more copper, and then I got to pull. Okay, so I need another row of copper up here at the top, and then I'm probably going to drill a couple more holes like I did down here to pull the two sections together. See how I pulled this section together? And I think I'll do the same here and probably here to squeeze that together. They had kind of a the plans called for sticking the copper through there and then tying it to down here, and I tried it once and it was like way too complicated, and so I found this seemed to work better for me. So anyway, we've got the bow pulled together and it's looking good. Thank you.